Back to school is a whole lot different this year.
I honestly feel that we need to stay out of the schools and away and stay home until there are fewer cases.
I mean, it's just not safe right now, plain and simple.
Instead of shopping for new backpacks and new school clothes, parents are checking their Wi-Fi connections and watching for any updates.
There is a lot more worry that I was thinking about, if they were to go back to school, how safe would it be?
The upcoming school year, like so many aspects of life during this pandemic, is uncertain.
One thing we know about the virus is that it's pretty hard to predict what 7 weeks from now is going to look like.
At the center of discussions underway, how do we keep our students and teachers safe while also making sure no child falls behind in the process?
Our kids who live in poverty and who already suffer from inequality, remote learning plans don't work for the majority of them.
I don't think anybody feels that that remote learning is as good as in-person learning, but it's a risk.
There is a lot still up in the air and a lot that is likely to change. But one thing we know for sure, this school year will be unlike any other.
KSAT explains.
KSAT explains. KSAT explains.
KSAT explains. On-demand, in-depth perspective. Perspective on stories we bring you in our newscasts throughout the day. We're looking into concerns over voting safety during a pandemic and the battle over mail-in voting. A look at how the protests and demonstrations have played out in our city and an examination of what it means to be black in San Antonio.
An issue that you have likely felt the effects of, rising property taxes.
The roots of Tejano run deep in South Texas. We examine the cultural impact the music has had in San Antonio.
This week's episode of KSAT Explains is all about what school will look like when classes begin this fall.
So many questions, so many concerns, and just as much uncertainty. Parents, teachers, and students have spent weeks trying to wrap their heads around heading back to school during a pandemic. And just as soon as we get a glimpse of what that might look like, the information seems to change, and fast. We're taking a look at the plans being put in place by local school districts. We're hearing from families about their own plans and their worries. And we're even taking a look at the future of high school football. But first, let's examine the back and forth that got us to where we are today. The constantly changing guidelines for this upcoming school year have been hard to follow, even for those who do it for a living. Krista Chorale, an education reporter with the San Antonio Express News, says she spent much of the summer keeping a lookout for when the state would issue guidance to local school districts on reopening campuses.
We kept on hearing that they would release their guidance, in June and then July and then later in July.
The matter wasn't exactly settled even when the rules did come.
After weeks of waiting, the Texas Education Agency releasing guidance for reopening schools across the state.
The state originally, when it did release its guidance this month, said that the school districts needed to open up for families who wanted in-person learning. Well, there was a lot of backlash to that. And
that initial requirement mandated schools open classrooms after a 3-week transition period or risk losing state funding.
Parents and teachers have some big decisions ahead.
Some teachers say the TEA's plans might be a little too rigid when it comes to the health and safety of the students and staff.
But a week after the TEA released its initial plan to reopen schools, the agency then issued an update.
Typically, schools fall under the authority of the state of Texas and local school districts, not the city of San Antonio or Bexar County. But today, the Texas Education Agency announced that the local public health officials can decide whether to keep Texas schools open for in-person instruction this fall without risking state education funding.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg announced the creation of a task force made up of students, teachers, parents, and other experts with the purpose of helping guide local schools on how to reopen safely. Then, just a couple of days later,
the Texas Education Agency updating guidelines for the upcoming school year today. Districts can now postpone in-person learning for the first 4 weeks of school.
And if your area is still really bad, then you can apply for an additional 4 weeks of remote learning for a total of 8 weeks. But then that's it.
Locally, with new power given to the department by the state, San Antonio Metro Health issued a directive prohibiting face-to-face classes until after Labor Day.
Schools initially move their calendar dates earlier, because the thought process was, if we have to shut down again, we have that time to do so. But then in San Antonio, at least, and some other hotspots in the state, that emergency was now.
Then, 11 days after Metro Health issued its order, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton stepped in.
Today, Attorney General Ken Paxton weighing in once more. In a statement, the state attorney general says local health authorities, quote, may not issue sweeping orders closing schools for the sole purpose of preventing future COVID-19 infections, end quote.
Shortly after Paxton's announcement, the TEA updated its guidance to say that school districts will lose funding if they keep classrooms closed because of a local health mandate. School districts are still allowed to remain closed for a total of 8 weeks with TEA approval. Chorale has been closely following the back and forth, saying those on both sides of the argument have brought up valid points.
I understand, both sides and how and what they want and what they feel like they're losing by being remote. And I think that the educators feel the same way. It's just hard to balance. How do you bring those families back in safely and also consider the safety of the teachers?
And while the debate is raging on, district leaders are scrambling to keep up with the changes and adapt.
Some school districts are saying, there was a plan back in June, and then we scrapped it to abide by the TEA's guidelines. And now with this change in the guidelines, we're revisiting those plans. We're pulling them out of our, digital trash can, dusting them off and starting all over again with those plans.
So what are those plans? For every district, they're an evolving work in progress. Some school districts already have guidelines put in place, but they're having to remain flexible as they watch how this virus affects our community. We spoke with 3 local superintendents about the challenges of leading educators right now and what's weighing on their minds as they prepare for the upcoming school year. 3 superintendents leading 3 different school districts, but they share some of the same concerns. The superintendents of Edgewood, Northside, and San Antonio ISDs agree the guidance from the Texas Education Agency has improved and is a starting point, but they all want more flexibility. Superintendent Dr. Brian Woods in Northside ISD would like to see a bigger emphasis on data-driven decision-making.
Things ought to be tied to what is the spread of the virus in a particular community, and decisions need to be made based on those metrics. And any timeline, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, kind of ignores that.
The goal is to slowly bring students back to campus.
In the building with a high quality teacher is the Cadillac model. It is by far and away the better way to go. And so we're all working to get ourselves to that point where we can do that and do it safely.
SAISD Superintendent Pedro Martinez says he's proud of what his teachers accomplished in the spring when they were forced to do remote learning. But it's not something he wants to repeat long term.
So there's just so many qualities that schools provide that a remote learning plan is never going to be able to give you. And many of my teachers, there's a lot of advocacy out there. And frankly, I'm sorry, but it's a lot of talk from people that are coming from privilege that say, well, we should be remote, until it's safe. Or when is that? When is that? I mean, is that going to be, give me a crystal ball. Are you talking about when there's a vaccine, when there is, when everybody's been tested?
Martinez says for some of his students, school is a safe haven.
If you think about what we provide in schools, we provide meals. We have nurses in every school. We have a safe facility, reliable internet access, devices.
He worries students who don't do well with remote learning will continue to suffer, and the achievement gap will widen.
I am more confident now than ever that as we're getting closer and closer to a vaccine coming out, 6 months from now, we'll be all looking back at this and saying, God, that was a crazy time. And guess what? All the decisions that we make during this period, those ramifications will continue. Nobody's going to look back at these kids and say, oh yeah, you went to school during that pandemic. Oh yeah, so we're gonna lower the requirements for you to go to college. Oh yeah, we're gonna lower the requirements for you to get a good paying job. Nobody's gonna do that, Lexi, for our students. We live in an imperfect world, and academics and education, and a lot of times is the only opportunity these kids have to escape poverty.
A world made more imperfect by a pandemic, to say the least. Safety is a top priority for these district leaders, and they agree remote learning is better than nothing.
So if a parent chooses remote learning, then we're going to ask parents to have a commitment to making sure that students are checking in at a certain designated time each day, and that also students produce a certain level of work every day.
It's certainly better than not educating kids at all. That is not a choice. We are not going to abdicate that responsibility.
Teachers learned lessons of their own when learning shifted to online only last spring.
I think one of the big lessons is that we can do a lot more remote than we imagined. And even though our team did a great job, we haven't been doing this for very long. And so it's good. It just takes us time to continue to get better at it.
Districts say there will be stricter rules for remote learners this fall.
We're going to require in our district, and this varied across the state, by the way, our district having some synchronous time every single day with every remote learning student.
Synchronous learning is one of two ways Texas educators can teach remotely. Remote synchronous requires two-way live virtual instruction. Remote asynchronous instruction does not require teachers and students to engage in real time. Once in-person learning is an option, Northside will have requirements for students who choose to continue learning remotely. They must have a safe place to work, a tech device, internet access, and time in the day to dedicate to consistent schoolwork.
None of those expectations existed in the spring, and now we're in a position where we can stand that up and we can say, look, if you want distance learning, we are going to support that, but we're going to ask you to commit to these things before you take that road. And then if it's not working well, we're going to reserve the right to contact the family and say, doesn't look like it's working.
But coming back to class won't be a return to normal. That will have challenges all its own. Edgewood Superintendent Dr. Eduardo Hernandez says it will even feel different.
Most of us were going through school, we would show up. We basically walked in the front door. We said hi, we shook hands, we maybe hugged people. Now what you're going to see is a very intentional approach.
That intentional approach for all districts will include frequent hand washing, face coverings, temperature checks, and limiting movement around campus. And classes are expected to be smaller. SAISD surveyed families in June, and 87% of parents said at the time they would be comfortable sending children back to campus for in-person classes. In July, that number dropped to 31%. A similar survey was sent to Northside families. 73% of NISD families answered in June they'd be comfortable or somewhat comfortable sending kids back to class. That dropped to 29% the very next month. Schools are also investing in PPE, installing plexiglass, and assessing every building on every campus.
Because my buildings are all different. Some of them have a lot of capacity, some of them don't. We've measured every single space. We spaced out, in every classroom, how many children we can fit in with different scenarios, 6 feet distancing all the way up to 8 feet distancing. So those are the kind of procedures we're putting in place.
Then there's the planning for what to do when a teacher or student tests positive for COVID.
The answer to the question, unfortunately, is not clean and simple. It very much depends on who the child or staff member is, how they move through the building, how much interaction they have with other people. All of those things, we're going to all get to be experts at contact tracing to a degree.
We see, a case break out, we could be closing a classroom or an entire school. In our intersession, our calendar will continue to have 2 weeks of intersession to make up time.
Districts are moving forward with plans to kick off the school year online, trying to build on the rapid move to remote learning we endured last spring.
Teachers did an excellent job of pivoting on a dime, but we still have to support them to make sure that they're able to support students in a remote learning environment.
Students in Bexar County haven't been back in the classroom since spring break back in March, but other students around Texas went back to in-person learning over the summer. That includes schools about 150 miles south of San Antonio in Premont ISD. The rural school district was one of the first and only districts in the state to bring students back to campus over the summer. The district superintendent says that even though there were no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Premont at the time, they still took all the necessary precautions.
There was health screening forms that the families had to fill out. There were temperature checks as they went on the bus. The elementary kids were given hula hoops. They really enjoyed that, but that was a a technique to ensure the social distancing. There was signage everywhere. The classrooms that we have now don't look anything like, I would say, the classroom that you attended.
The superintendent says they learned a lot during their test run over the summer.
We tried to fit the whole curriculum in with a limited amount of time. And I think if we had that to do over again, we would look at the essentials, the foundational core subject areas. The others are very important, but right now I think we need to focus on the basics. And that's what we're going to do in the fall.
The superintendent says the district will take the lessons learned over the summer and apply them to the fall semester. Premont classes begin August 24th. All students except those with special needs will be working remotely for the first 3 weeks. Jim Wells County, the county in which Premont is located, now has more than 530 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Then there are private schools. They're looking to the TEA for guidance on how to reopen safely, but in the end, it's up to each individual private school to come up with its own plan. There's been some debate about whether private schools must abide by directives put in place by local health departments. But there's one thing they definitely have in common with their public counterparts. Plans have been changing quickly.
We are the public voice for the private schools in Texas.
Laura Colangelo is the executive director of the Texas Private Schools Association.
We don't have an opinion as an organization of whether schools go back, when and how they go back. What we are just trying to do is make sure that they have the authority to make that decision.
Colangelo says plans for the new school year differ from private school to private school, but they're looking to the TEA, the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and local health officials for direction.
Some private schools are not ready. They don't have everything in place yet, and they are not going to open up right now. They're going to stay virtual. Many schools have been working since May, and they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and put in electrostatic cleaners and reduced enrollment by half so that they can have significant social distancing and masks in place and all of that.
Schools, she says, are making the decision to return to campus based on the needs of their own school community and conversations with their school attorneys. Nearly every private school is offering a hybrid of remote and in-person learning.
There are a couple of small schools serving children with special needs. Those kids need to be back in school now. I mean, they've really suffered in the last couple of months not having that consistent education and those teachers. So those schools in particular, they were the loudest when we were in these conversations saying we need some leeway here.
Like public schools, private educators are putting plans in place for what to do if and when there's a COVID outbreak. Public or private, both school communities are asking for patience as they start a school year unlike any other.
What was true last night for private schools was not true as of noon today in terms of guidance. So be aware that it's a shifting landscape, and hopefully we will all be back in school and healthy and safe, and this will all be behind us sooner rather than later.
It's not just classes being affected by this pandemic. Extracurriculars and sports are also taking a hit. Right about now, we'd all be preparing for another high school football or volleyball season, but even that has been delayed to prevent the spread of this virus. RJ Marquez talks about the UIL's unprecedented decision to start the season late.
There's nothing like Friday night football in Texas, but like everything else in our state, the coronavirus pandemic has put the future of high school athletics this fall in jeopardy.
I can't remember in all my years of doing high school football, and that takes me all the way back to when I was, 16 years old. First of all, the high school football season has never been delayed, and now being delayed due to a virus.
Coaches are normally getting ready for August camps, but that will have to wait. The University Interscholastic League delayed the start of practice for the largest school districts in Texas until September 7th, with volleyball games starting September 14th and football starting 10 days later. UIL is also limiting fans in the stands to 50% capacity. Those at games will be asked to wear face coverings and social distance.
The biggest thing for me and for all of us, I think, is just come to the realization that things are going to be different. I mean, you make adjustments as you go, and I talk to our kids about it all the time. You just adapt, improvise, and overcome.
We have to be flexible with this, and it has to be a sliding scale. these COVID cases still continue on through August, then it's going to have to be pushed back even further, perhaps even to the spring.
Workouts and conditioning camps held earlier this summer helped coaches and players adjust to new health and safety protocols, but a spike in COVID cases put those camps on hold. Now coaches are missing out on important daily interactions with players.
And that opportunity to visit with kids, to talk life, to talk, whatever it is, and problems, and help with problem solving and those kind of things. School is so much bigger than pen and paper, or in our regards, football, X's and O's.
High school sports, specifically football, are a way of life across Texas, so it would be hard to imagine any stadium across the state, including the iconic Alamo Stadium right here in San Antonio, staying empty this fall.
And I think people are proud of where they grew up. They're proud of where they went to high school. They enjoy watching the games. They enjoy hearing the score. They enjoy watching the highlights. So it brings the community together.
I think athletics lie at the heart and soul of every community.
Still, Coach Carroll says a sport shouldn't be valued more than health and human lives. And while he waits to see what will happen, he trusts that the UIL and coaches across the state will keep that in mind.
Since 1990, Youth Q's mission has been to positively impact youth through the power of choral music. They've done this nationally and here in San Antonio through the San Antonio Youth Chorale. SAC not only helps the youth, but the community too. Now they need your help as they raise their voices to support the San Antonio Food Bank. Youth Q and San Antonio Youth Chorale would like your support in reaching their goal of raising $60,000 for the food bank. You can help them right now by visiting my.safoodbank.org/youthq and make a donation to aid the food bank. $1 can make up to 7 meals, so whether you give $1 or $100,000, you're changing the lives of those who receive that gift. Show your support now by making a donation at the link on your screen.
KSAT Community, in partnership with RBFCU, University Health System, and Energy Transfer.
Not until it is safe. That's the message we're hearing again and again from some teachers preparing for the upcoming school year. Others are just trying to take it day by day. We talked to 3 teachers to find out what they're thinking as they prepare to head back to class.
Teachers are willing to take a bullet for their kids, but now what you're asking me to do is take that bullet home to my family.
I am scared, not mainly for myself, but for the people I live with.
I think you can't take away the nervousness. Everybody's going to be nervous.
3 different teachers who share similar concerns. Some argue the spread of COVID-19 puts teachers, students, staff, and families across Bexar County at risk, a risk that some teachers aren't willing to take. Pamela Bogus is one of those teachers. She's a special needs paraprofessional at Fort Sam ISD. She's been in the field for 16 years.
I absolutely love what I do.
Her concern, she lives with and takes care of her elderly parents.
If it was just me on my own, definitely I would go back. Not without a doubt, without a doubt.
Adrian Reyna, an 8th grade social studies teacher with SAISD, is in a similar situation. He too lives with his parents.
There is definitely a real concern that I would bring something to them as I care for them.
Juan Cano, a 6th and 7th grade social studies teacher in Edgewood ISD, knows there's a risk, but says he's looking forward to seeing his students.
I miss my students, I miss my athletes, being a coach as well, miss that interaction with the kids. And I think also our kids need that interaction, that they need that social, emotional outlet with adults.
Pamela, Adrian, and Juan recognize that in-person learning is the best option for their students, but ultimately it will be up to them to decide if they feel comfortable being in the same room with them.
Not until it's safe is our motto, and it's not just because we care about the teachers that we work with and ourselves. It's because that's we care about our students, we care about our families.
To be put in a position where we could eventually get very sick and die. That's not what we signed up for.
I just think everyone needs to kind of, go with their gut feeling on what they want to do.
We learned some updated information from Pamela Bogus just days after we spoke with her. She informed us that since then, she has turned in her resignation letter. She said she simply could not risk getting infected and then bringing the virus home to her parents. Of course, teachers are not the only ones feeling hesitant about this upcoming school year. Parents are preparing to play a bigger role in their child's education, as a lot of kids get ready to learn remotely from home. And even when classrooms do open back up, parents will still be faced with a difficult choice.
The options are bad to awful. There's no replacing in-person learning. I don't think anybody feels that remote learning is as good as in-person learning. But it's a risk.
It's a risk that's weighing heavily on mother of two, Brandy Albert, even though she's heard that COVID doesn't affect kids as severely.
Let's just face it, whether it's, 1 in a million or 1 in 100, anytime your kid is sick, it's concerning.
Albert has a 7-month-old baby girl and a daughter entering 2nd grade in Northside ISD. Her older daughter has asthma, something that Albert will be thinking about when given the choice to send her back to school.
I want my daughter and I want all the kids back in school, I think just as much as everyone else does. But to me, the sooner we hurry this, everything we did the last few months was for nothing.
Parents across the city are preparing to begin the school year online. Even though it's what many prefer for now, it still poses its own set of challenges. Melanie Flores says it was hard work making sure all 5 of her children had structure when schools switched to distance learning back in the spring.
As a parent, we had to set that example and that rule to, have them still wake up at a certain hour and still do their classwork and turn it in.
Her 4 school-age children attend school in Harlandale ISD. Balancing their schedules and her own took some getting used to. But she says she felt supported by her kids' teachers and the district, and she was thankful when the district was able to loan her family a laptop.
Which is very, very helpful because I had tried to only do it through my phone, let them log on through my phone. But with 4 of my kids, going to school, after the first week, it was hard.
Outside of just making sure their kids keep up with their schoolwork, some parents have been grappling with how to talk to their children about what's going on.
That was the hardest thing. Trying to explain to her at a level where you don't want to scare them, but you also have to make them understand why they have to maintain physical distancing.
Even when it is an option, both moms say they will probably keep their kids at home for a while longer.
I'd rather do that and, let them learn here online in house and see how everything plays out.
Especially with so much still in flux.
I don't even know what returning to school looks like, but I have to make a decision on will my child return to in-person learning.
Some parents are considering other options when it comes to this school year. Some are looking at homeschooling. Others are looking at what are called school pods. Patty Santos explains.
The interest in homeschooling has gone up due to the pandemic. The Texas Homeschool Coalition says they have been flooded with calls from parents asking how to get started.
A lot of folks are asking if I want to do this, how do I withdraw my kids from the public school? What about transcripts if I want to go to college?
Online learning through a district and traditional homeschooling are not the same thing. So if you choose to do homeschool, does it come with a cost?
You can spend as much money or as little money as you want to on homeschooling.
Will you be required to teach all day?
Especially if your kids are younger, you can spend an hour or 2 hours with them and accomplish all that they need to do, that they would do in a classroom. And then you have free time.
There are resources on the Texas Homeschool Coalition website to help parents pick a curriculum that fits them and their child. And if it doesn't work, change it up.
Anybody can do this if you have a heart to do it, and you will find that you will learn as much as your children.
First-time homeschooling parents will want to find support by joining online groups and mentoring programs. As homeschooling appears to be making a resurgence, a whole new industry is emerging: school pods. The idea is parents in a neighborhood pool resources and hire tutors to teach a small group of kids. Some parents want to have an in-person teacher to augment distance learning. This Facebook group called Chorale Teach San Antonio has more than 1,000 members. Its goal, connecting families and educators.
Get
local. Download the KSAT TV app on your device.
Local news, live and on demand.
Hyperlocal original programming.
Hey, you see what happened?
That's incredible.
I know. Get local. Download the KSAT TV app on your device.
If the COVID-19 shutdowns have left you struggling, KSAT.com/now hiring is the place to start. Whether it's a new job or something to help you now, there are businesses who need you. KSAT.com/now hiring, powered by Broadway Bank.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We've heard from parents and teachers, so how about students? We talked to some recent graduates and upperclassmen in KSAT. RJ Marquez shares their thoughts.
Mel, Hulen, Aisha, Bella, and Nayeli are all local students looking to further their education in the middle of a pandemic. Contracting the virus when they return to class is a major concern.
I really want to go to school, especially for mariachi and other extracurriculars at school, but I just cannot.
I learn better when it's in person. But I was able to be successful in online learning, so it's not ideal, but it's definitely the safest option at the moment.
They aren't only worried about themselves, they're also thinking of their loved ones.
My mom has respiratory issues and of course COVID attacks lungs. And so I'm really worried about going into such a small space with so many people.
I just am very scared for my 12-year-old little brother who my 12-year-old brother likes to be around people, and the same thing with my sister. Also, just like them bringing that back home to my mom really scares me.
My mother, she is a nurse, and I think it's too much of a risk for infect it and give it to me, and then I pass it on to other students.
The students who have had to work through this pandemic to provide for their family, if parents have had to become unemployed, so would they have to decide between school or also helping to support their family?
The pandemic has highlighted a digital divide across the city. Many students were given devices to get through the semester. Some have had to give those back.
And I'm in multiple internships and online camps. And if you don't have the technology for that, then you're put way behind in terms of experience.
Technology is a big struggle for us as a district. I do recognize that issue, and that's super unfortunate that some districts, you do see a digital disparity between districts like the north side. They have those that equipment to be able to give out to students.
And there are other reasons some students may be eager to return to school.
Some students may feel that they are forced to go back into face-to-face school because they depend on school for whatever activities or for food, or they have a large dependence on their school and the district.
All five agree on one thing. Ultimately, they just want to feel safe and know they have a voice when it comes to their well-being.
We are going to be the people affected. Don't make decisions for us, make decisions with us.
I would advise all of the school districts to listen to their students and listen to their families and listen to their teachers, because the answers lie in us, truthfully.
Please put our health and our safety first above everything else. It's the main concern right now. We're in a global pandemic, this trumps everything.
So what do we know about COVID-19 and kids? Well, the reality at this point is not all that much. Medical experts say that it appears children under the age of 10 don't get as sick as perhaps older children or adults, and they seem less likely to transmit the virus.
We do know that likely children under the age of 10 are less likely to spread COVID to other individuals. And that could be that they may not have a stronger cough. they're not as tall.
There hasn't been much documentation when it comes to child-to-child transmission or child-to-adult transmission, but many parents still aren't willing to risk their child's health, no matter their age. Right now, kids between age 0 to 19 make up 15% of positive cases in Bexar County. That age group ranks 4th in terms of the age group with the highest number of cases. But 0 to 19-year-olds make up less than 1% of deaths. In July, Metro Health reported a spike in COVID cases among kids, which concerns many as schools prepare to open. According to data released by Metro Health, between May 3rd and July 12th, the 0 to 2 age group made up the largest number of pediatric hospitalizations. The second largest group was 15 to 17-year-olds.
Younger kids are still I wouldn't say protected. They're just less likely to get infected and get very sick or require getting a test. Now, that could also be because kids aren't getting exposed outside the home. They've been in quarantine, they've been with their families, so they're not being exposed to large numbers of people outside their household that, say, a 17-year-old might get exposed to. So they're at risk. They don't seem to get as sick, but that doesn't mean they don't get sick at all. And we've certainly seen some deaths in younger kids. And in the hospital, the kids that are there tend to be kids with not underlying conditions. They tend to be healthy kids, and they're requiring hospitalization. They're sick enough for that. So that tells us that kids can't get sick.
The night meet. The day isn't over.
It'll be a very tense situation. Folks, this is live.
It's what's happening right now.
We heard the shots and ran for cover.
She was not allowed to record video or take pictures.
More investigations.
Crooks to break into a bar, then drive off with a whole ATM.
You have no idea how long employees were exposed.
More stories affecting you.
This will be a major traffic nightmare.
Working to bring you more.
Night is not over just yet.
The Night Beat.
Feeling a little frisky?
Then get ready.
It's the summer of me.
On Me TV.
Chill out with some hot classics.
Watch Me and My Family on Mama's Family.
Laverne and Shirley.
Happy Days.
Stay cool with Happy Days all week long. Plus, Laverne and Shirley, Mama's Family, and Brady Bunch themed episodes every weekend.
Spend your summer at home with Me TV San Antonio, found on these local channels.
We know a lot of the information about back to school is still evolving and could still change. We are following all of the developments that you can keep track of on our website at KSAT.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of KSAT Explains. Before we go, meteorologists Sarah Spivey and Katie Blake share some of the educational content that you can share with your students on our website.
One of the things that's great about being a meteorologist at KSAT is that every year we're asked to visit schools and talk about the weather. Now, while we may not be able to do that for part of this school year, meteorologist Katie Blake and I still want to be a part of your child's education. And KSAT Kids is a great way for us to do that. On the KSAT Kids segment of KSAT.com, you'll find great educational resources. For example, you can access science lessons that I've done about the seasons, moon phases, and much more. All you have to do is search Sarah's Science Classroom.
I love those videos. Thanks, Sarah. So once you've visited Sarah's Science Classroom, make sure to stop by Katie's Science Lab. Every Wednesday on GMSA at 9, I'll perform a fun and easy science experiment live during the newscast. And we'll even let you know what supplies you'll need in the 6 o'clock hour of Good Morning San Antonio on Wednesday morning so that you can follow along and do the experiment live with me. Now, if you can't watch live, you can check out all of the experiments anytime on KSAT.com. Just go to the KSAT Kids section. Let's experiment.
So even though the school year may be uncertain as we end 2020, you can count on your weather authority to try to keep things exciting for you and your students.